Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we dive into a shocking and highly controversial development in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war that has sent ripples across the global stage. Reports are emerging that Iran has allegedly supplied Russia with a new deadly weapon, being referred to as a Doomsday missile, raising major concerns about the next phase of this brutal conflict. If these claims are true, we are looking at an escalation that could bring unprecedented destruction, cause massive geopolitical tension, and potentially change the course of the war. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is reportedly furious, frustrated, and deeply worried as he feels his country is being abandoned by allies at a time when support is needed the most. This situation is extremely serious, and in this video we will break down exactly what is happening, why Iran's involvement is so dangerous, and how this may reshape the future of the war in Eastern Europe. First, let's talk about the alleged weapon, the so-called Doomsday missile. While Iran has developed several advanced long-range missile systems, experts believe the one in question could be an upgraded version of their existing arsenal with increased range, warhead capacity, and precision targeting. Some analysts suggest it could reach over 2,000 kilometers, capable of striking deep targets with devastating impact. If Russia truly receives such advanced technology, it could bypass some of Ukraine's air defenses and deliver massive blows to critical infrastructure, military bases, and even urban centers. This completely changes the strategic balance. Up until now, Russia has relied heavily on drones, artillery, and hypersonic missiles, but this new system could bring destruction on an entirely different scale. The fear is not just the physical damage, it's also the psychological effect. A missile capable of large-scale annihilation is meant to instill fear, break morale, and force political concessions. So why would Iran supply Russia with such a dangerous weapon? The answer lies in global alliances and shifting power dynamics. Iran and Russia have grown closer in recent years, especially after both countries faced Western sanctions. They share common enemies and common goals, pushing back against U.S. and European influence, expanding their power in their respective regions, and using each other as strategic partners. Iran has already supplied Russia with thousands of kamikaze drones that have been used to bomb Ukrainian cities. In return, Russia has provided Iran with advanced military technology, political support, and even assistance in nuclear development. This exchange is not just about weapons, it is about building a powerful anti-Western alliance. By giving Russia more advanced missiles, Iran is signaling that it is willing to go even further, despite international warnings. This move risks triggering major consequences, including additional UN sanctions, European retaliation, or possibly direct action from countries like Israel or the United States. Yet, Iran seems prepared to take that risk. Meanwhile, Ukraine is facing growing pressure on the battlefield. Russian forces are launching wave after wave of assaults, using new tactics and more aggressive strategies as winter approaches. Ukraine's ammunition is running low. Its air defense systems are stretched thin. Western support, which used to be strong and consistent, is now slowing down. Some countries are dealing with their own political and economic issues and are no longer prioritizing Ukraine as they once did. In the United States, aid packages have been delayed due to internal political debates. In Europe, some leaders are becoming hesitant about sending more weapons, money, or resources. Zelensky, once the symbol of resistance, is now struggling to keep his allies united. He has traveled across countries pleading for support, warning that if Ukraine falls, the entire European security system collapses, but the urgency is not being met with the same determination as in the early days of the war. This is why Zelensky is reportedly furious and heartbroken. He believes Ukraine is being left to fight a superpower almost alone. He feels betrayed by those who once promised full support for as long as it takes. And now, to make things worse, a new powerful missile might be added to Russia's arsenal with the help of Iran. If this situation continues, Ukraine could face not only more destruction, but also the possibility of being forced into an unfavorable peace agreement. Russia might use these missiles as leverage to force Ukraine to surrender territory. The stakes have never been higher. This conflict is no longer just about territory, it's about international order, military power, and the future of alliances. Let's analyze the global response to this situation. The United States has issued warnings to Iran, saying any missile transfer to Russia would cross a red line. European nations have condemned Iran's cooperation with Moscow, but so far, no strong action has been taken. Israel, which considers Iran its biggest threat, is extremely alarmed. Israeli officials have hinted that if Iran continues sending advanced missiles to Russia, they may intervene, possibly even supplying Ukraine with technology that could neutralize Iranian weapons. This could widen the war beyond its current borders and draw in more countries. NATO is also watching closely, knowing that if Russia becomes too strong, Ukraine could fall. And if Ukraine falls, Russia might not stop there. Countries like Poland, the Baltic states, and others feel the danger is moving closer to their doorstep. Let's talk about the possible military implications. If Russia deploys these Iranian missiles, Ukraine will need even more advanced anti-missile systems like Patriot, NASAMS, or Israel's Iron Dome. But these systems are expensive and limited in supply. At the same time, Russia is improving its drone swarms, combining them with missiles to overwhelm defenses. Ukraine is trying to produce its own long-range drones and missiles, but production takes time. The problem is time is running out. Russia also has the ability to strike across the entire country, hitting energy infrastructure during winter. If electricity and heating are destroyed, millions of civilians will suffer. This could lead to mass displacement, humanitarian crises, and even societal collapse in some regions. That's exactly what Russia wants, to break Ukraine's will from within. Yet, despite all these challenges, Ukraine is still fighting. Ukrainian forces continue to launch drone strikes deep inside Russian territory, targeting airfields, oil depots, and supply lines. They have destroyed some of Russia's most valuable assets using creative and low-cost tactics. They are adapting every day, building new fortifications, training more soldiers, and developing new countermeasures, but resilience alone is not enough when facing massive firepower. Without consistent support, Ukraine's ability to defend itself will decrease. And this is exactly what Russia and Iran are counting on. They believe the West will eventually grow tired. They believe political division will weaken unity. They believe time is on their side. Now let's focus on the political pressure building around Zelensky. Some voices within Ukraine are beginning to question the government's strategy. Others are worried that Western promises may never fully materialize. Zelensky is facing both internal and external challenges. He has to maintain morale, secure international aid, and manage the country's defenses all at the same time. His emotional appeals to allies reflect the reality: Ukraine cannot win this war alone. If the world allows this new Iranian-Russian missile partnership to grow, the consequences will be felt far beyond Ukraine. It will show that authoritarian regimes can team up, ignore global rules, and use terrifying weapons without consequences. It will encourage other nations to follow the same path. So what happens next? The international community must make a decision. Either act now to stop the flow of advanced weapons into Russia, or watch the conflict escalate into something even more catastrophic. Sanctions alone may not be enough. There may need to be direct interception of shipments, diplomatic isolation, or stronger support for Ukraine's air defenses. Some experts are calling for a red line policy. If Iran delivers missiles, then Ukraine should be allowed to strike the facilities that produce them. Others say the West should accelerate Ukraine's membership in NATO to protect it long term. Whatever the solution, doing nothing is the most dangerous option. In conclusion, the claim that Iran is sending Doomsday missiles to Russia is more than just a headline. It represents a turning point in the war. It exposes the weakness of global diplomacy, the shifting alliances of world powers, and the growing sense of urgency in Ukraine. Zelensky's cries of abandonment reveal a harsh truth. Support is fading, while threats are increasing. If the world does not act decisively, the consequences will be permanent. But there is still time to change the outcome. There is still time to strengthen Ukraine, pressure Iran, and contain Russia. The next moves made by world leaders will determine whether this war ends or expands into something far worse. Thank you for watching, stay informed, and we will continue to update you as this critical story unfolds.